so far my career has been great, but like the cherry on top, if I get to fight Merab while he's the champion, while we're both the machine, while we're from different Georgias, like, you know what I mean? Like that's
that's right.
That's the
Georgia
fight, bro. Like
Georgia.
that's the dream fight.
His name is the Machine. Malcolm Wellmaker, 10-0, 2-0 in the UFC, 3 right hooks in a row, Contender Series, April, June, in Atlanta, right hook, right hook, right hook. They call him the Machine. They might as well call him the Right Hook Machine. On Saturday at Madison Square Garden, he makes his New York City, his Madison Square Garden debut on the prelims of UFC 322. He is a superstar in the making. He is the pride of Augusta, Georgia. He is the one and only Malcolm Wellmaker. Is he here? He's here. He made it.
What's up, brother?
Welcome
How you doing?
New York.
Give me a hug, man. Good
let's
to
do
see
it.
you. Good to see
Thank
you,
you so
brother.
much. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to New York City, man.
New York, man.
How bad was that?
Horrible.
Horrible? How long were you in the car for?
Bro, it was over an hour. Over an hour.
sorry.
I think we got in the car at like 2:19, and we just now getting here.
And it's 3:35.
Yeah, it's horrible. And I'm
so
waterloaded,
sorry.
bro. I had to piss so bad. Oh my God.
Did you get to go to the bathroom?
Yeah, that was the first thing I did. First thing I did when I came in.
I'm sorry, man. I hope that we didn't put stress on you as your...
No, not at all.
Okay,
well,
it's so great to see you. Okay, we're glad to have you,
brother.
We're glad to have you, man. It's so good to see you in the flesh.
It's amazing
Here
to
you
be
are.
here, bro. I done seen this set so many times. I done seen so many superstars here. It's just...
And now you're one of them.
I guess so. I guess so, man.
Is this your first time in New York?
Yeah.
In your life?
So I did a band trip when I was in middle school and I came here, but it was like we came in, we did a little show and went back home. So I've never seen half the things I've already seen since I've been here for just a day and some change. So
Which instrument did you play?
I was a drummer.
Okay.
Yeah, the least nerdy part in the band.
Yeah. And you still do that?
No. I stopped drumming and then I went into like just making beats for my friends and stuff like that when we was trying to be rappers and all.
Yes.
That didn't pan out.
Walla and all this?
Yeah, facts.
Yes,
I tried rapping, it wasn't my thing, so here I am.
And so what do you make of the city now that you say that like you've gotten exposed to a lot of it now over the past day or so? What do you make of the vibe here, the hustle and bustle as they say?
It's like the movies.
Yeah.
It's literally like the movies. You know, I was on the way here, I was talking to the guy that was giving us our ride from the airport to the hotel. And I was like, everything I know about New York is like from the movie Elf. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everybody busy and fast paced and kind of rude. You know what I mean? And, it's been just like the movies. I even saw the building that his dad worked in. You know?
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
So a little different than Augusta, right?
A lot different. Yeah.
Do you like the vibe or is it not really your thing?
First impressions, I don't like it. I like it, in Augusta where it's a little bit slower paced and people seem a little bit more personable maybe. I mean, people don't seem mean here, but it definitely is like, it seems transactional a bit, when you're talking to the people at the coffee shop or whatever.
Yes,
at least in the hotel, it's been like,
oh yeah, it's fast paced, it's intense, get out of everyone's way.
And driving, bro, the cars are like this close to
They
ballsy, bro, how close they get to each other, how fast they driving. It's different than Augusta, man.
Well, I'm happy you're getting to experience it because I said this earlier, like it always feels, every time the UFC comes to MSG, they come here once a year, always around this time, they always sprinkle some guys that you can tell that they're very high on to give you the rub, to give you the platform and the showcase. And I feel like you're one of those guys. Did you take it that way when you got the call that you were fighting on this card? Not Qatar next week or Apex last week or even T-Mobile in December, MSG. To me, it felt like validation. It felt like they were tipping their cap towards you. Did you take it that way?
I did. My manager told me he was working on getting me at MSG, and I thought that was crazy when he told me that after June. And so before I actually got, the fight signed or any confirmation from anybody in the UFC, I went to 320 to watch Merab.
Oh yeah.
And when I took that trip to Vegas, I talked to a lot of people in the organization. And based off of those conversations, like they was telling me how happy they were for me, how they wanted me to just keep being me, and like how they had big plans for me. And like, I was like, for me, like what it was crazy. And then, I actually saw Sean when I was in Vegas, and he was like, yeah, man, like we working on that MSG card. And I was like, oh, so like it's like happening. And between that trip and then actually seeing the placement on the card happen, I really do think I'm getting kind of like that I guess like privileged treatment, but in a good way.
It's a push. It's not a privilege. It's a push. They're getting behind you. They see something in you.
It's amazing, man. It's crazy. I'm glad.
So you went to 320 what, to scout Merab?
No. It was they asked me to be a guest fighter. So it was my first opportunity to be a guest at a fight, and so I went and I did some like some media stuff. Like they took some pictures of me, posted it.
Yeah.
Another moment of me realizing like, oh, they like promoting me. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
What's it like being a guest fighter? Like now there's people who are lining up to take pictures of you because all this is still so fresh. Like 3 years ago, man, you're like fighting in the amateur scene.
Yeah.
And now here you are getting this type of attention.
It's crazy. And the real crazy thing is, I mean, I guess it's because I still have like a small town vibe or mentality, but like, I'm talking to these fans, holding like short conversations with them. And then like some of them I even remember their name, and like I'd see them one day and then call them by name the next. And like, I can see how strongly that impacts them. Like they are like, man, like you mean so much to me, how much you've talked to me and the time you spent with me and then stuff like that. And so like, I really, really enjoy talking to the fans, and I can see how much it's impacting them.
Fast forward 5-6 years, you're like, man, F the fans.
I hope
I know. You don't strike me as that type of guy. Yeah. We were looking at, so it was around 3 years ago, you're fighting in your last amateur fight. You win via rear naked choke.
Yes.
We were looking at that. I think we have the footage here. Do we have this? Because what's crazy to me is, we're going to play it in a moment. Okay. What's crazy to me is like the scene around you. You're fighting, like, look at this. Look at this right here for Conflict MMA. There might be like 50 people there.
Yeah.
And now you're about to fight at Madison Square Garden in front of like 19,000. Like how many people are here? Like there's the wall right there. I see the wall. I see the wall.
Space in there and everything.
That's your last amateur fight, right?
Yeah. That was my last amateur fight. Yep.
Where is that? Is it in some kind of warehouse? You know like, all those people?
A good bit of them, because that was in like Macon, Georgia.
Okay.
So it wasn't far from my home. And so that was actually a gym, like a MMA gym. They moved all the mats out the way and put a cage in there.
Oh, wow.
And set up chairs around it, Like I done fought in like high school gymnasiums, you know what I mean? Warmed up right next to my opponent and stuff like that. And I don't know, man. It's crazy because in that moment, when I had my 4 or 5 amateur belts, I still felt like a superstar. Like jumping on that cage and the 8 people screaming, you know what I'm saying? I felt as huge as I feel today. I feel like the same guy.
And so, like, if we would have talked that night, would you have believed it would happen so fast for you?
Absolutely not. No, it's happened really, really fast. I went pro in 2022. So being in the UFC this soon, like, I got in 2 years after going pro, and then within the first year, having all this stuff done in the UFC already is crazy. It's insane.
Do you remember getting the call that you had been signed by the UFC?
Yes, I do. I was on the way home. It's funny, Jason House got a picture of this, but I was on the way home. I was still in my work clothes. Jason House, he texted me. He was like, I'm about to FaceTime you. And most of the time, like, he's a fast-paced guy. He'll text me if he need to. He'll make a quick phone call. But to stop and say he was going to FaceTime me, I knew it was something interesting. And so he FaceTimes me. I'm in my work clothes, and he was like, hey, bro. I was like, what's up? He was like, you fighting for Dana White's Contender Series. And, like, it was just almost like everything went mute. Everything slowed down. And I remember I had tears in my eyes. You know what I mean? And we took a little screenshot in that moment, and I just was smiling and couldn't believe that, I did enough to get that opportunity.
This is when you were still working as a pipe fitter, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Man, there's like, even like looking at some of the pictures, like we found this one picture of you and I guess your coworkers, your boys.
Yeah.
These guys, I would imagine, like here they are, right here, right? You're on the right.
Yeah. That was a sick job. That plant in the back is a zinc processing plant, and they take steel mill dust and they put it in a real hot furnace and process it and remove the zinc out of it. And so that whole plant is covered in that black dust. And all the employees that work for the company walk around with respirators on. Me and my guys, none of that. That's why our face is like covered in black stuff.
Why?
And like 30-40% of our work was at that place. I hope I'm not getting them in trouble.
No.
But yeah, it was dirty work, and that was a shutdown. That was like 16-hour shift, nasty work, rebuilding a chute for that zinc. It was nasty work.
Wow. You still keep in touch with those guys?
Yeah. I talked to that same group of guys, that same crew, within the last month.
Wow.
We just talked, yeah.
Do they get together to watch you fight?
All of them. Everybody in the trade, it's even people working on the road, Texas and Florida, they have fight parties on the road because everybody in the construction industry knows who I am. So even if they don't know me personally, the guys on the job will do a fight party. They'll send me videos. It's crazy, man.
Do you feel like you're representing them?
100%.
Does that give you pride?
100%. Because it's a lot of those guys in the trade. Like, if I tell you I worked construction and I trained full time until I made it to the UFC. It sounds hard, right?
Yeah.
But if you haven't done that kind of work, if you wasn't on those like shutdowns with me, you don't know what I mean by hard work. It's rough. It's imagining doing that. I look back at that and I don't know how I did it. Like, I don't know how I worked construction for 8 years alongside competing and training and did not like fold. It's crazy.
Like just die of exhaustion, right?
Yeah,
I mean, the job is tiring enough.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of people, they'll do their shift and they'll go home, they'll crack open some beer and they'll enjoy their night and before they got to get back on the job the next day. And every day I was going straight to the gym until it was all over with. It was crazy.
Was there ever a point where you're like, man, I can't do this anymore, and something's got to go, and it's the thing that's not making me any money, which is the fighting?
Yes and no. Like, there was times where like oh, my bad.
Oh, no problem.
That's so unprofessional.
No, all good. She's trying to eavesdrop.
Right. There was times where like, it was rough. Like, for instance, so that job I worked for the last 2 years, there were times where we had opportunities on the road for work where we go out for 2 weeks at a time and we get paid per diem and like real good money. And like, I remember missing multiple opportunities like that because I had to stay home and train or I had fights coming up. And I was already like broke and not seeing no kind of like real, success other than just improving my record and hoping one day I did enough. And those were the moments where it was like not knowing if these choices was gonna pay off, if these sacrifices were gonna pay off. Because my whole pro career I was behind on my bills.
Wow.
And so it was moments where I thought about walking away, but like legitimately like having like a sit down like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Nah, I figured I was gonna do it until I knew it wasn't gonna work.
Did you give yourself like a sort of deadline? Like if it doesn't happen by 5 years, by 6 years?
Not really. I kind of, my idea was like, if it looks like I can't make it to the next level, I would do it. Like if I started taking losses, if like, cause I was signed by Jason House fairly early in my pro career. So like if I felt like, things like that wasn't coming, like I wasn't seeing actual progress towards the next level, I think I would have had that moment where I had to make a decision. But there was small bits of success and small steps towards the goal that kept me, locked in on the journey.
Someone was we were kind of killing some time and talking to the fans while we were waiting for you to come in, and someone asked me, no, I appreciate you not saying F you guys, I'm going back to the hotel.
No,
so
absolutely
thank you.
not. No.
Someone was asking me, they wanted to know if your wife or girlfriend is going to fight pro as well. Does she compete also?
Yeah. So me and my wife met in the gym.
Oh,
so
wow.
She's in the Navy. She got stationed in Augusta, Georgia. She started kickboxing in Augusta, Georgia, and once every summer we do a MMA show in Augusta. And I was headlining the year that was her first time going to this show. So me and all my teammates, it was 4 of us, all of us got a knockout that night. And every one of us like took fight of the night from one another as we was getting the knockouts. Well, anyway, that night was like so huge for us that we had a lot of people who decided they wanted to come and try out our gym after that, and she was one of them.
Okay.
So she decides to come and try our academy out. Obviously, we was kind of eyeing each other and we started dating and then obviously had a baby, got married and all that stuff. But she gonna kill me if I get this record wrong. I believe she's 5-0, maybe 6-0, but I think 5-0 with all but one knockout.
Wow.
So she's a really good
in
kickboxer.
pro MMA?
No, amateur kickboxing.
Amateur, okay,
right.
Gotcha.
And so she's planning on making her transition into MMA after she's done focusing on the baby because we're going to breastfeed for a year.
Yeah.
And then after that, she's going to get back into competition training, which she's already training way harder than she should be. And then hopefully pursue a professional career after.
Wow. And how do you feel about that?
I love it. She's, I admire a lot about her. She does so much for me that people don't know to make my life work how it is. Because, before I was in a relationship or had a child, like making my life work was just being selfish and putting everybody else on the back burner so I could achieve my dreams. But now that I have a child, I have to have a wife who's accommodating for me in so many ways so that I can be a present father and that we can have a low stress relationship. And bro, she does so much for me. So I admire her in that way, but her work ethic as an athlete is incredible as well. It's not many athletes, let alone female athletes, that I've seen like just commit to training and show up to so many sessions that are not necessary. And she's like very similar to myself in that aspect. So
when you see her compete, like do you corner her?
Yeah,
okay.
I do. I cornered her in her most recent fight.
When was that? Pre-baby?
Yeah, right before the baby. Yeah.
Baby was born in May, right?
Baby was in May, so she got pregnant right after the Augusta show the year before. So
Okay.
I cornered her in that Augusta show and the fight before that.
What is that feeling like, though?
Not bad. Honestly, I get a little bit nervous, but for her, with the level she's at and how good she is, how hard she works, I don't get too nervous with her fight.
Okay.
She did really well.
And if she transitions to MMA, which weight class do you think she'll be in?
She fought 115 in the last one, but I don't think she'll ever go back down that low again. She
Okay.
had to live hard for that. So probably 25, I would think.
Okay, so almost close to you.
Yeah, that's right.
Training partner.
She can't do nothing with me though.
Yeah,
Don't get it wrong.
You guys don't. You don't roll. You don't.
Yeah, no, we do. Like we roll a lot. We spar a lot, and it's funny because I don't know how many people like have relationships with their sparring partners, but it's a complicated dynamic. You know what I mean? Because it's like every time you hit her, she take it on an emotional level too. But like I'm the type of guy as well to where like I feel like I need to give her best work. You know. So I don't take it easy on her. I'm not trying to knock her head off, you know what I mean? But it's a complex relationship, but she's good. She's a good student.
I saw UFC was posting earlier today pictures of fighters checking in and signing, and you're here with your son.
Yep.
I saw a picture.
Okay.
So I guess when you fought in Atlanta in June, was he there?
Yeah. Well, so
because that was like a home game for you, kind of 2 hours away.
Yeah.
But he didn't go to the fight, right?
No. So he didn't go to the fight because at the time, he was born May 19th, so he was like a month old.
Wow.
But he rode with us and he stayed at the Airbnb in Atlanta when I fought.
This time will he come?
Nah, he's not
Still
gonna be
too
there.
young.
Yeah, still a little bit young. Yeah. We don't quite want to bring him. I was nervous about bringing him on a flight, but he did really well. So
Was this his first fight?
first flight ever.
Wow, how'd he do?
He did great. And me and my wife didn't even get sat next to each other. So we was like, I was kind of like, looking around trying to see her, but he did good.
Well, you
He
left her
slept.
with the kid?
Yeah, of course. Of course. But she's independent, man. She takes him everywhere. He goes everywhere with us. And he did good on the flight. So
What about at the hotel now? Are you sleeping with them?
Yeah.
How does that affect your sleep?
You a full-time dad, brother. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I mean, I'm still like my wife, she takes majority of the work, especially throughout the course of the night. But it is what it is.
There are some people fight week where they'll say like, wife and baby will be in another room so I can get my sleep. You don't feel the need for that.
I'm all right, bro. It's fine.
good?
Yeah, we're gonna get some sleep. We're gonna rest. I'm gonna have a good time. And I don't think it's gonna impact me so much that, I'm not gonna do what I'm gonna do anyway. If I'm a little bit more tired on fight night, it's not gonna be significant enough to change the outcome, I don't think.
Will she be in your corner?
Absolutely not.
No? Why not?
No offense by
I
that.
mean, you're in her corner. Why isn't she in yours?
Yeah, because I know what I'm doing, bro.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But no. Like,
my God.
My coaches that
You're gonna
been,
hear it.
day one coaches, they've been cornering me since the beginning. They still corner me now.
What if she what if, she's watching and then she's like, I think the right hook will you were a little bit.
That's cool.
Will you take that?
Yeah, now go to sleep, baby.
Yeah. She gives you pointers? Is she that bold?
For sure. You can. Yeah, I mean, she gives me her opinion. We like watch my opponents together sometimes, and she'll be like, "Oh, I see this, I see that," and I'll run my thoughts by her. But like, it's not like a dynamic where like she's giving me actual advice. It's more so just talking about what's in front of me.
Will she go to the fight?
Not this one. She's gonna be with the baby.
Okay, she's gonna stay back.
Yeah.
So she came all the way to the trip, but she doesn't get to go to MSG.
She'll be all right, brother.
All right.
Like I said, my wife accommodates in many ways for me to make sure I can do what I do at a high level, and I love her for it.
I just want to go back to the pipe fitting job. How do you even get into that? Like, how do you even get that job? How do you go down that path?
So this is a funny story. I'll kind of condense it, but my mom works at a pediatrics office, right?
Okay.
So she was working the front desk at a pediatrics office for a long time, and there was this lady in the office that was bragging about how much money her boyfriend made, and she always was coming with gifts and all this other stuff. My mama like, what your boyfriend do? And she's like, well, my boyfriend's a pipe fitter. And so my mom was like, well, what do you got to do to become a pipe fitter? Because at the time I was working like call center jobs and food line as a buggy boy and stuff like that. And so turns out they do a application process once a year or twice a year. Back then they did it. And so My mom finds the information, sends me the internet link. I get the date that you got to show up down to the hall, and I show up in like my khakis and like a little tie and button down, which nobody else did. They was like country boys and jeans, right? Yeah. But I show up, and then you fill out paperwork, and they send you to the Department of Labor to do some tests like math and reading and writing, and then you come in after that again to do like in-person interviews, and they want to know about any mechanical background that you have, and then just kind of fill out your personality, how you work with others and stuff like that. And I smashed the math portion of the test. I've always been good at math. I had no mechanical experience. Like, they asked me what a crescent wrench was. I didn't know. You know what I mean? It was bad.
What is it, by the way? I have no idea.
It's just an adjustable wrench.
Oh,
like,
okay.
So if you ever see the wrench that got that little threaded, like, spinning gear in it, that changes the size of the handle. Yeah, that's what adjustable wrench is, or crescent wrench. Crescent is the brand, and it's an adjustable wrench, but everybody call it a crescent wrench. But anyway, I didn't know what that was, and everybody know what that is, except you. Yeah, but I did good enough on the math, and I talked well enough that I landed pretty high on the list of people they call as they need apprentices, and it was maybe within the next couple months I went to work for them.
Okay. Yeah. And did you like it, or was it like, could you, if things didn't work out, would you have done this for the rest of your life, or was this just?
Yeah. No, I love it. I love pipe fitting. I love construction. I love.
I have to say, it's like I look at this. You posted this. This is kind of like where you got on our radar. Your a day in the life.
Yeah.
It looks kind of miserable in the sense that, like, it's tough, man.
It is.
Look at this. Like, you're all hunched over and stuff.
Bro, me and my apprentice Wyatt was like 3 months into the trade, did that job by herself. I was up in the air.
What is that job? What are you doing right now?
So I'm changing out a butterfly valve. So those bolts go to a valve that opens and closes the flow on that pipeline. It's called a butterfly valve, and it's very slim. And it's installed in the piping line by what's called a flange. The flange has the bolts that go into the valve that keep it in place. So the one that was there was old and it needed to be replaced. So we had to remove the old one, cut off the old flanges, install new flanges, and bolt up the new one. All while I was above the line, like above those lines up there, and that's Wyatt right there. Oh. And he was up under it. And we got it done pretty quick. I got that job done in a couple hours. It wasn't too bad, but
damn,
you got to know what you're doing, because you can mess some stuff up, and a 2-hour job becomes a 4-hour job, becomes a 6 hours more stuff.
And where are you? Where is this?
So that was in South Carolina, Jackson, South Carolina.
And like, what is the building that you're in?
Oh, that plant. So that plant was called Union Agner. Union Agner is a plant, and they do chemical processing, and it has something to do with the agriculture industry. Like, when you pull up to that plant, it's a big statue of a cow in front of the plant. But we had a lot of work out at Union Agner, which was actually one of the more clean plants that we worked at.
So like this, like, why aren't you wearing a mask when you're doing the zinc stuff?
So it's about getting the job done, brother. You know what I mean?
But how does the mask stop you?
So like, to the type of mask you'd have to wear in that place would be a respirator mask, which you have to get fitted for. They're expensive. It's a process that goes into acquiring them, being trained for it. And with us not working there full time, you can get around having the necessity of doing it, because we were contractors that went out to do jobs, but it was just so frequent that we was doing it that the amount of exposure we had might not have been, what was being said to be. So to go in and do a job here or there, you probably don't need it to legally work safely under like OSHA regulations, but for sure, like, you would want one.
I mean, look at this. Look at you here, man.
Oh yeah. That was a shutdown at a paper mill in Augusta. That was fun.
What do you mean by a shutdown?
So a shutdown is when a plant of some kind that's up and running shuts down operations temporarily so that time-sensitive repairs can be made.
Okay.
So when a shutdown's going on, you have a list of jobs to get done, and it has to get done in that time frame, because every minute beyond that time frame they shut down costs money that they didn't plan on losing.
Okay.
So like, shutdowns are like a big part of what we do in the trade. Everybody better show up on time and like have work clothes on and be ready to like skip breaks and lunches to do what you got to do to get it done.
How many years did you do this job for?
It was like 9 years and 8 or 9 months.
Wow.
It was close to 10 years.
That long?
Very close to 10 years. I got in, my very first job was August of 2015.
Okay.
And I got obligated into the union in October that same year.
Did you ever get hurt on the job?
Nothing major. Like small cuts, bumps, bruises, smashes, but nothing like, life-changing or making me think I wanted to do another trade,
This may be a silly question, but because it has to be so rigid, there's pressure, there's people does any of that translate into what you do now? Like you have to go in, get in, 15 minutes,
Right.
get the job done. Do you feel like any of the discipline that you learned from that translated into the fighter that you are now, or is that a reach?
Yes and no. What's crazy is, so when I was a first year apprentice is when I started training. And it was a lot of things that I needed to learn to be successful and respected in construction, as far as like the type of clothes you wear. Like, because a lot of people like me, who come from backgrounds that don't know much about the trades or that profession, wear whatever clothes we have when we get into the trade. So it was like my old clubbing clothes. Like I had skinny jeans and like graphic shirts and stuff. But like the thing is, and I had dreads down to my shoulders. But the thing is, on a job site, if a guy sees you dressed like that, the immediate assumption is that, one, you probably don't know what you're doing. And it's just that, to be respected and be, productive in that trade, I had to learn to dress the right way. I had to get the knowledge, and it's just a whole package. But I say that to say, I learned a lot of stuff about construction, manhood, respect, work ethic, alongside learning it in MMA. So like the things in MMA was kind of helping me outside the trade, and I think the trade was kind of helping me within the trade, but they work both together, I think, to make me who I am today.
So who gets you into MMA? Like, did you do martial arts as a kid?
No. So
anything?
Never. I played Little League basketball, rec ball.
Okay.
And I had to stop when I was going to 6th grade because I got into a magnet school because my math scores, right? So
okay.
good. My mom wanted me to stop because she didn't want it to distract me from being a good student. So beyond 10 years old, I did no kind of sport. And I never did combat sports, never wrestling, karate, boxing, nothing. And I was first year apprentice in the trade, and I was eating good, right? I was drinking more beer. Lifestyle was declining a little bit, but I was physically seeing it. So I went from being a skinny kid in school all my life to being like a little bit of a gut having, face kind of chubby, and I didn't like what I was seeing. And the guys on the job site, it's two guys in particular, Kyle Mathis and David Cornforth. Both of those guys I talked to, I was like, man, I want to get in shape. I want to hit the gym and get strong and lose this belly. And they both was like, hey, you should try MMA. You can learn to defend yourself, you'll enjoy it, and you'll get in shape. And so that was like the little
that's the moment.
Yeah, the little moment where I was like, okay, let me try it. And then I walked in and life completely changed.
Did you even know what the UFC was? Were you
I knew what
aware
it
of
was, but the only thing I ever saw before was like John Jones highlights,
Right.
Anderson Silva highlights. But beyond that, I never watched a full fight, never watched a live event.
Never went to a party, a bar to watch a fight? It was not on your radar?
Never. Not at all. The only combat sports I ever watched was like Floyd when he boxed like, Manny. But besides that, I was not a combat sports fan at all, really.
And so how do you decide which gym to go to?
So this is a crazy story as well. There's a kid I grew up with, his name was Scooter, and me and him always was like goofing off doing the same thing as kids, but I ran into him at Georgia Southern where I was in college at, and he was in the gym and they had a wrestling room, but he was in there boxing people, like sparring and stuff. And so I'm like, you do MMA or you box? Like, what it is? He was like, no, yeah, I do MMA. I compete amateur and stuff like that. And like, so like, I was like, damn, that's cool. So when I'm back in Augusta, because both of us ended up back in Augusta after Georgia Southern, he was the person I reached out to. And crazy enough, he trained at like a garage gym, like some guys training themselves in the backyard, but they shut down. And the leader of that gym reached out to my coaches at the time and said, hey, I got fighters that don't got nowhere to go. Can you take them in and help them out? And my coaches was like, yeah, tell those guys, come on, we'll help them out. If they can't afford it, we'll figure something out. And he was the only one that went to that gym. And he only trained at that gym for like 2 weeks. He never committed hard, but during that 2 weeks, I hit him up, and that was when he was like, come to this gym with me. They good people. And so he brought me there, and we trained together for a couple weeks, and beyond that, he never showed up again, and I just stayed.
Man,
yeah.
It's crazy. Like, if you're not talking to your friends at work about the belly and all this,
oh my goodness,
you may never find this sport.
Never. Insane.
Do you ever think about that?
All the time. Like I think about how many small like moments about me choosing this path, being like, if I wouldn't have became a pipe fitter, I might not would have ever found this life. If I wasn't talking to the specific guys, if I wouldn't have got put on that job or that crew, if I wouldn't have had a friendship with the guy that took me to the gym I'm at, because as well, the gym I'm at is 100% responsible for me being as successful as I am. Like, there's a lot of other gyms in Augusta, not a lot, but some other ones that train at a fairly high level that I know I would not have had the success with. And not just because of the skill, but the people. Because Jake, Pops, Joel are like family. Like I call Pops Pops. I don't never call him by his first name. And they didn't just help me out in so many more ways than fighting that I know I wouldn't have got here without them.
Are you still with them?
Yeah, 100%. They just got here before I came here.
Wow.
Yeah.
And are you their first fighter to make it to the UFC?
Yep. Very
okay.
first. Yeah.
So you're all going through this together.
Bruh, yeah, it's crazy. Like, you know, when I was training with them and I was coming up, like I had different managers come at me. I had different teams come at me and like tell me, hey, you should come train here. Like, you gonna outgrow your camp eventually. We got these partners, those partners. And I remember I went through like a real bad breakup, and I was thinking about relocating and trying to go full time at like an ATT somewhere or something like that. And having these conversations with my coaches, and bro, they never was like upset about those conversations. They was like, we only want what's best for you. We think we can get you there, but if you want to try doing something like that because you think it's best for you, like, bro, they handled it. Like, it's crazy how well they handle stuff like that. They great people. And as I've grown, they've grown alongside me. Like, they still give me work in the gym. They still have technique that I'm learning, and they have such a mind for the sport, and I love them so much.
How close were you to actually relocating and going to one of these big gyms?
Not super big, but Robbie Lawler's brother, Frank Lawler, is out of the same local as me.
Okay.
Frank.
I never heard of Frank before. I mean, like, I've heard of
have you ever heard of Robbie say when he was growing up, his brother used to beat him up, and that's kind of like what started that demon?
Yes.
That's the brother. He's huge. He's huge. Like, he's literally like Robbie plus 100 pounds. Like, dude is tall as can be, big old head, big old hands. And I've worked a few jobs with this guy.
Okay.
And every time, like when I was fighting on the local scene, he would go out of his way to come up to me and give me positive words and all that stuff like that. And anyway, he took a step one time to put me in contact with the coaches out there in Deerfield, and they had a program where they would onboard fighters depending on, like, you know, your record and experience and stuff like that. And so I remember sending the email to the coaches out there, and this was so long ago, like the details are probably butchered, but I sent the email, and they was like, yeah, you can come down and train for a week for, you know, lodging and stuff with this price and blah, blah, blah. And like I said, it was right after a bad breakup, so like I'm thinking like I need to go all in on fighting. And that was like when I pulled my coach Jake aside and told him, hey, I got this opportunity. Hey, I got the money. You know, I was working a good job at the time. I don't have nothing tying me to the city right now. I'm kind of considering going and pursuing this and really trying to make sure I take this to the highest level. And it was that conversation I told you where it was like I could see how heartbroken he was, but like he was like, man, I would hate to see you go, but I would never hold you back.
Wow.
I decided to stay. Glad I did.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing when you think about all the things. Like you probably don't meet your wife, right?
Yeah.
If you don't go down this path, right? Like if you, from the job to the gym to training MMA to right, like
everything was so like it's just so many small things that had to happen right that just makes me believe like it's from the higher power, bro. Like it's not by just so happenstance. It's a plan, you know.
By the way, you mentioned Georgia Southern. You were once on the other show that we have here with the boys in the back, and our guy Connor went to Georgia Southern too. You know this,
which is crazy. Yeah,
I think at around the same time as you.
We probably have walked by each other at some point and had no idea.
He's repping you back there. Connor, you there?
Yeah.
There
got the shirt on. Let's go.
Got the Grizzly merch on.
Yeah,
I love it.
Fight Co.
And he got that from my boy Dill in person.
At the fight.
Yeah, so shout out to you, my boy.
The shipping didn't make it in time, and so he met me at the arena and gave it to me. It was incredible.
Yeah, for
Just
sure.
in time for the knockout, too.
Bro, and we got another shirt that we gonna release right after the fight. We had to iron out some details, so we didn't get enough time to push it before the fight, but the design is sick, and it's gonna come out after the fight, so it's gonna be fun.
Where's the spot, Connor, that used to hang out? Georgia Southern.
Oh, shit, I don't know. Dingus McGee's, you remember that
Yes, I remember Dingus McGee's.
What dorm did you live in? I lived in Eagle Village.
So I stayed at Eagles Landing. Was the first one that I stayed at. But you remember the Ave? Have you ever?
Oh, yeah.
That's where me and my friends hung out the most.
I lived in the Avenue my second year.
Okay,
paid $250 a month in rent. Cockroaches climbing all over my walls and everything.
Right. Yeah. No,
crazy.
the Ave, bro. Like how you say roaches crawling everywhere. Like that's like the projects at Georgia Southern, bro.
And what year is this? What year is this?
2012, 2013.
Yeah,
time. 2013
I graduated
is when I was at the Avenue.
2012, and I went 2012, 2013. I made it a semester, so I made it a year. I got kicked out, and I appealed it, and came back my second year. And then after the next semester, I got booted for academics. And so my second year, I spent the whole 6 months just chilling in the Ave doing nothing.
First, did you get kicked out because of the 3-strike program?
No. I I had like a big old thing.
Oh, okay,
that,
all right,
that
something
happened.
serious.
Whoa,
Secondly,
what's that? What's that?
So long story short, they do fire drills on campus housing. Eagles Landing was an on-campus housing.
Okay.
It's an apartment complex, but it's on campus. And so when they do these fire drills, they always open the front door to make sure nobody's in there, and then they close the door. That's it. But at the time, I wasn't there. But I was doing a lot of stuff on campus you weren't supposed to be doing. So they open up the front door. They see a lot of stuff they're not supposed to see. And so they lock it, but it's a lock. The bolt lock, only the campus has access to unlock. So I literally was chilling in the Ave. I come home to try to get changed so we can go to the club that night. Like me and my homeboy sitting in the car, and I can't get it open. And so I drive up to the lobby of the apartment complex, and it's a cop car out there. And I'm like, something like, yeah, this don't look right. And I walk in, and as soon as I walk in, bro was like, I've been waiting for you. And I'm like, oh my God.
No.
So he walks me to my dorm or my apartment, and he say, you can either give me permission to search it, or we just gonna go through the processes, and the dean is gonna give me permission to search it anyway. So you can sit here and wait for a couple hours, or you can just let me do what I'm gonna do anyway. So I'm like, all right, bro, you can search it. So he opened my door, he started searching it, he started finding a bunch of stuff that he ain't supposed to find. He started pressing me, getting aggressive, being a cop. And I'm being a young, dumb kid. I'm cussing back, and
oh no,
I'm trying to like fire up a cigarette in the apartment in front of his face.
No.
And it kind of got physical. Like he say I pushed him. I ain't pushed him. I just tried to get around him. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And yeah, it ended up, he arrested me and took me to jail. And
damn,
I had a hearing with the school, and they say like it's up to 72 hours for them to come up with a decision on the punishment they're gonna give you. And within like 2 hours of me leaving the hearing with the school, they told me I was expelled. And then I obviously had charges with Bullitt County too that I had to get situated, which that's a crazy story. But yeah, I appealed it, and they let me come back to school but banned me from on-campus housing. And so I did one more semester at the school, and then I failed out for academics after that. And then I had 6 months left on my lease. So for 6 months, I was just chilling at Georgia Southern with my friends, just playing games, working at Wendy's, and then
how come the academics, you're so good at math?
Yeah, but I wasn't going to class, bro.
No.
Like, Connor will tell you, bro, like, Georgia Southern, they notorious for partying. Like, every day of the week, you can go and party, and it's not like an empty bar or club. Like, it's a lot of people, a lot of house parties all the time. And I had no direction. Like, I didn't have anything I wanted to be. I was just in college because my mama told me that you either gonna pay bills or you can go to school. And, like, I'm not finna get a job and pay bills in your house. Like, if I can go to school, I'll do it. So I took out a bunch of loans, went to school, was having a good time, and had some loans I had to pay because of it. But
it's so crazy hearing you talk about this, and this is not that long ago, right? Like this is like 13 or so years ago.
Yeah.
And then and now you're fighting at Madison Square Garden, man.
Bruh, it's so crazy. Like, I say this all the time, but if you look at all the stages in my life before this, like almost up until I fought on Contender Series, you would never say that this was in the cards for me. Like, if you stop and say Madison Square Garden X amount of years, is it happening? Absolutely not. Nobody gonna bet on it. And you can do that all the way up until maybe after my UFC debut. But before that, like, I was nowhere on track to being in the shoes I'm in today. It's outlandish.
Do you get nervous?
For what?
All of this. Like, this is a big stage, a big platform. Do you get anxious?
Not really. So the Contender Series fight I was nervous for. That was the most nervous I've ever felt because you know if you walking away with a contract or not that night.
Right.
So I was nervous about that. But Kansas City, Atlanta, this one, bro, I feel good.
Really?
I feel good. I don't feel, it's kind of weird. I've been waiting for the nerves to hit me and get that gut feeling, man. I ain't felt it. Like, I feel good. I feel excited. I'm ready to go out there. I want to cut this weight. I want to get on that stage. You know what I mean? Hopefully Joe Rogan there.
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you haven't done a Joe fight yet, right?
I ain't never met the guy. Never met the guy, bro. Forgive me, but I saw Joe Rogan for the first time at the 320 ceremony weigh-ins. I said, bro, he's short. Like, I didn't, but his arm's so long.
He's big, yeah.
Bro, I watched Joe Rogan's podcast. So there was a job I worked for years, 45-minute drive to and from. I watched his podcast religiously, while I was working that job. And I admire him so much and respect him so much, but I've never seen him. So when I finally see him on stage and he's next to like these athletes, I'm like, bro, it's crazy. So yeah,
you win, he's interviewing you.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy, bro. I mean, you interviewing me right now is crazy.
He's on another level. Bro. But that's motivation too, right? You're gonna win, and the guy that you used to listen to religiously.
I can't even wrap my head around it. And as big as a moment as that is for me, like I still don't feel like nervous per se about it. I'm excited about it. Like I can't wait to go in there and fight and knock him out or have a dirty fight or have a brawl or have to whatever I gotta do. Like I'm excited to do it and then have my conversation with Joe and have some pizza after the fight, bro. I can't wait, bro.
You're in a good place for pizza.
I heard.
This is the spot.
I can't wait. I done had a few suggestions, but like I always do pizza after the fights, like, cause I don't party, I don't club, I don't drink. So the pizza after a fight is something I've been doing since the local scene.
Oh,
I
wow.
did it in Atlanta, Kansas City, but like this one's gonna be special.
Yes.
This is New York pizza.
Yeah,
so, like,
yeah.
bro, I can't wait, bro.
Do you feel so 3 straight right hooks? Is there any part of you that wants to keep this going?
100%.
Okay.
I want to knock him out within 3 minutes with a right hook.
Oh my God.
That's what I want. Like, you know what I mean? I hope it happens. I don't know. Obviously, I can't predict the future. But a first round knockout is what I look for in all my fights. Now, I'm not necessarily going out hunting it, but like I plan on seeing the opening and committing to it in the first round. So
When did you realize that this thing was lethal? Like
right hand?
Yeah.
To be honest, man, after the Contender Series fight.
Okay.
You know, I've always had power in my hands. I've knocked guys out. I've knocked guys out with straight lefts. I've knocked guys out with right uppercuts. I've knocked guys out, you know, with right hooks. But I never thought one shot in particular was like, this is my death shot. Like if I hit them with this, they die.
Yes.
But now I think that after my last
The way you
fights,
set it up too, like the way you set up the last one, it's just it's so clean.
man,
It's
crazy.
You just watch it over and over again and be like,
I
yeah.
can't count how many times I probably watched it more than anybody on this planet.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
It was good.
Like I can't even imagine how many times because it was textbook. Pitch.
Yeah.
It's better than textbook.
Yeah.
It's like there's like not a. Did your coach say anything about that afterwards? There can't be a single thing.
Yes, like I mean, not well, of course, not like yeah, actually.
Really?
yeah.
What is there to say? What is there to critique about that?
I got a little wild when I hit him with the left. So I hit him with
Okay.
the left earlier in the fight, and his knees buckled a little bit. And in my defense, I thought that shot was good enough to do him. And so that's why I kind of went guns blazing and like threw like this heavy combo. But I don't think it wasn't necessarily criticism, but like it was us looking back at that moment like, okay, like looking back in 2020, I was a little bit, you know, trigger happy with deciding this the moment to go for the finish.
Okay.
But again, I thought that left hook.
So now that it's a thing, you have to be careful of that, right?
Absolutely,
Because
yeah.
now you want that fourth in a row.
Yeah, of course.
So how do you stop yourself?
I've been wanting to knock people out in the first round all my
Okay,
life. You know
okay.
what I mean? Every fight I've ever had. And it's funny, I remember for so long in my career, amateur all the way up through pros, me and Pops would always be like, first round, 60, 70%. First round, 60, 70%. And every fight afterwards, we'd be like, that wasn't no 60, 70%.
Yeah.
Every time we say that. And it was like maybe I think maybe my second pro fight, it was the Jorge Masvidal fight. And afterwards, I went to Pops, I was like, I think I hit that 60, 70%. And my desire to knock people out fast has never changed, but my ability to control my composure and pace has. So I think even now with me wanting to continue this hype streak of knockouts in the first round, I don't see issue with me controlling myself and compromising, you know, any openings by doing so.
How's your wrestling? How would you assess your wrestling?
It depends on who asks me. If I'm talking to somebody seriously, I think I can wrestle really well.
Okay.
You know, we identified wrestling as a necessity long ago. Before I even competed MMA, my coaches was making me wrestle. So before I transitioned from kickboxing to MMA, I was doing like a Sunday wrestling class with a guy in Augusta. Doc is what we call him, and he's super good. And all the way since then up until now, I have wrestled. And in the training room, I wrestle aggressively. Like I pursue takedowns on people. We do a lot of wall drills. I cycle guys in on me. Bro, I'm a tough wrestle. But I like the narrative that I can't wrestle. So like when like the casuals or trolls ask me, like I kind of play into it and say I don't wrestle or I don't grapple or train it very much. But to be honest, I'm very confident in my ability to wrestle. And I feel like I have fought some strong wrestlers in my career before. Granted, the UFC level is higher than any level in the world, but I fought some guys who were a dog on a bone, and once they got hands on me, did not want to let me go nowhere. And I got what I wanted. I got space and I put hands on them. So I don't have this fear in me or this lack of, confidence in my wrestling at all. I'm looking forward to it.
Because we've seen before guys come in, few knockouts, then all of a sudden they get stifled, right?
What happened? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you're aware of this.
Yes.
You're relishing the opportunity to show that you are not one of those guys.
Yes, and again, like Cody in particular, or any opponents in my future, I hope I knock them out in the first. But the silver lining is, if I don't knock them out, that means I'm in front of somebody who is going to put me in different situations to show what I can do. And I believe when I show what I can do in these situations, the fans are going to love me for that as well. So they can love me for the knockouts. They can love me for my dog mentality. They can love me for my anti-wrestling. They can love me for any of it. But I just haven't been put in a position yet on the big stage where I can show that I can do that stuff.
Speaking of Cody, replacement opponent,
Yes.
when your original opponent fell through, were you worried that you wouldn't get a slot on the card?
Yes. And the reason why is because Atlanta was such a nightmare, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, I didn't get signed until 11 days out. And, like, I was very nervous after, Sergey got injured, that it would be another situation where we weeks away from the fight and I don't know if I'm fighting or not. But, bro, they got me somebody in a matter of days. It was like literally 3 days later, it was already signed and done.
He's looked good in the UFC so far.
Yeah, no, he has. Yeah.
What do you think of the challenge?
I'm excited about it, man. I think if you look at him on paper, man, he's very, very good. He's got these amateur junior boxing titles. I believe he's a black belt as well. The only loss he's got is Steve Urseg. He's really, really challenging in different ways. But when you watch him as a fighter, like, bro, it looks like exactly what I want in a fighter. You know what I mean? As a guy that has forward pressure, a guy that's going to throw punches and give me my counterpunch opportunities. And if I don't get that Cody Haddon that's giving me punches and giving me counterpunch opportunities, then, again, I end up in a situation where maybe I get to create an opening like I did with, Chris or, many different ways. But I think he's a great palette for a fighter tonight, 100%.
How far away do you think you are from, like, the real big tests, the big dogs of the division? Not to diminish any of these tests, but you know what I'm talking about, right? Like, how far away do you think you are from those guys?
Names.
Yeah. Everything's happened so fast for you.
Bro, it could be the fight after this one, honestly.
You think that quickly?
Yeah. And look, I'm not comparing myself in any way, but I'm pretty sure Hamza, after his first 3 dominating performances, they gave him Gilbert Burns.
Right.
And that was like Gilbert Burns. Like, I remember seeing that and like, wow, that's crazy. And so it could be a fast track like that.
Would you be okay with that?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you want that?
Yeah. Like,
okay.
I was halfway hoping, like, after the fight with Sergey got canceled because of the injury, like, I was like, I wonder if they're gonna throw me a bigger name, like somebody that people know well. And I was kind of looking forward to it. But I also know that was like a long shot, and still, even now, I think Cody is a good fight, man. Like, it's
Yeah, I'm not trying to put him down.
Yeah, you already know. You know sports. I mean, you know Cody. It's a good fight.
No, it's a great fight, and it's the proper, like, the stage is proper, the opponent is proper,
Absolutely.
but at some point they really get behind guys, and they seem to get behind you, and they push you.
Yeah.
When you watch Merab right now, you're obviously not in that conversation just yet. We have to take some time, but, like, do you start to compare yourself to him? This is how I would fight him. This is what I would
Absolutely.
do. Yes?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, like when I watched him, I've watched him for years, obviously, but even most recently watching Corey, like, bro, Corey did so good. Like, there was so much Corey did right. He got up every single time he got taken down. I mean, to the last bell, he had that fighting spirit. Like, he did so much I admired. And, like, unfortunately, if Merab is conscious, bro, the problem doesn't go away. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like you got to knock him out. And so me and my coaches all are like, man, I know I got the power to knock him out. Like, what would be the shot? How would we beat this guy? And what's the plan? So, like, I definitely watch him with that thought in mind.
Do you think he beats Peter Yan next month?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I think he's gotten even better since he's become a champion. Like, he's loving the sport even more. He's probably enjoying training as much as he's enjoying fighting. And, I mean, he won the first fight, and I think he's going to do the same thing in the second fight.
He's beaten a lot of the top guys already, and now there's talk maybe Umar gets another. Do you see anyone, putting aside yourself, anyone who could give him a tough go right now in that top 10?
I don't know, man. Not like I can't like no names come to mind. Like I think this is the guy that beats Merab. I think Merab's everybody. Like to be honest, like even objectively speaking, you throw my name in that conversation, people are gonna say Merab's me. You know, unless I land that shot. And that would be the whole game plan. So it'd have to be somebody with that one punch power that could just not have to follow up that shot when they land it.
Are you praying that he's still the guy by this?
Yes, that's my biggest dream. I want that. That would be like, so far my career has been great, but like the cherry on top to where I'd be able to say that was a career.
Yeah.
If I get to fight Merab while he's the champion, while we're both the machine, while we're from different Georgias, like you know what I mean? Like that's
that's right.
That's the
Georgia
fight, bro. Like
Georgia.
that's the dream fight. You know, obviously tons of work to do, but
if he's still the guy, he will be the most decorated and respected bantamweight champion of all time. He might have the most wins in a row. If Islam loses and he wins a couple more, he'll surpass Anderson Silva. You know, I know a lot has to happen, but holy smokes.
Imagine that, though. And if I beat him, it'll be because it's past his prime, but I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that, bro.
He's showing no signs of slowing
down that. Oh, bro, he's a killer,
the
bro.
Cardio, he almost knocked out Corey in the second round.
I know. And he said he was going to do that, you know? So, like, I hope he say he won't knock me out. You know what I mean? But, I love the dude, man. And I trained at Syndicate. So I went out to 320, but 2 weeks before that, I went out for a media shoot, and I trained at Syndicate while I was there because Andre Philly invited me. Bro, Merab is like incredibly cool. Like
you talked to him?
Yeah, afterwards we sat and we talked. He was asking me like about my time in the industry, the construction industry. He was telling me about his.
Yes.
He was making jokes because he found out I was Muslim and my knees wasn't covered, and he was like, "Your knees supposed to be covered," and I was like, "Look, I'm a revert one day at a time, brother."
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So, like we was making jokes like that, bro. Like, but Merab is like, he's so awesome, bro. He took pictures with my coach's son and everything. Like, I like the dude, but like I would love to fight him.
Did he know who you were? Was he aware of your career?
Yeah, he knew who I was. So a really close teammate of his, Otari Tanzalov, is somebody who accepted a fight with me in Atlanta 14 days out.
Okay.
And then he tore his knee helping Merab prepare for a fight, so he had to pull out. So when I went to the camp, Otari obviously knew who I was. Merab obviously is super close to Otari, so he knew who I was. And he was nothing but love and respect, man.
When you're at your gym in Augusta, what's the name of the gym?
Fagler's MMA.
So it's a little smaller than your Syndicate, right?
Absolutely.
What is it like for you when you go to one of those gyms in Vegas, and there's a ton of pros, and you're kind of, you know, one of many fish in the sea?
Right. You know, I used to go to these big gyms and be like starstruck by just the equipment and layout of the place. Like they got front desks with receptionists. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they taking mat fees. They know if you a member, you scanning stuff to get in. Like, bro, we don't have that for real. And you know, I used to be just mesmerized by that. And then like being on the mats with like all these big names and like these coaches that are so recognizable. And granted, like I've only had a couple experiences with these super high level gyms like that. But now I feel like I like my gym and my team. Like my coach moved around with one of Merab's teammates who was preparing for a fight and a very accomplished wrestler. I don't know the guy's name or how to pronounce it. But after that round, like he complimented my coach on his wrestling ability. And my coach don't pride himself on wrestling. He prides himself on grappling. And like that's my main training partner. You know what I mean? He's done so much for me. Jake's done so much for me. And like I have guys that one of my other teammates, Quincy, was the #1 ranked 55 amateur in North America before he went pro. Like this guy, I'm avoiding getting knocked out by him every day I'm sparring. Like I have really good guys in my camp that not are just there to help me get better, but they love me. They take care of me in a way that I won't have to worry about my health. And even though I like being on the mats with a lot of high-level guys, I got the takeaway I got after experiencing that was like I have what I need at home. Not that I can't learn from these guys, but I have no, you know, desire or gaps that I feel like need to be filled.
Not to look past Cody, but have you thought about who makes sense next?
Not really. I ain't thought about past New York at all.
Okay.
I'm just still thinking about Joe Rogan.
The Joe Rogan and then the pizza situation.
Yeah, Joe Rogan and the pizza. I don't know what's next. Hopefully a ranked guy. If not a ranked guy, I hope it's a very recognizable name. Not that I don't want to continue fighting lesser known people and stacking up highlights, but you know, now I have this almost like this ambition to like show how good of a fighter I am rather than just like get these knockouts and performance bonuses.
I was listening to an interview where you talked about, I think you said either your grandfather or your father is from Vietnam.
So yeah, my granddad was in the Vietnam War.
And he married.
Yeah. My grandmother, and he brought her to Augusta, and that's why me and my family is Blasian.
So, Blasian.
Yeah, facts. Yeah.
Because I have to admit, like when I'm talking to you, I feel like it's the second coming of Benson Henderson.
Bro.
And I know you've heard this before, right? It's even with the hair, too. Your smile.
Yeah.
You look like Benson. And Benson's from Korea. His family, his mom, I think, is from Korea. But it's amazing. Obviously, you're a little bit younger than him. But there's something about your vibe, your smile, your spirit is
crazy.
Have you ever met him?
Never, but this is a funny story, too. Before I was in shape, I still had the beer belly at this point, still had the dreads and stuff like that. But I remember doing a workout at an amphitheater and being like spent and worn out and not even finishing the workout because it was too hard. And Pops pulls up his phone. And he has a picture of Benson Henderson ripped up in his white shorts. He's like, you could be like this one day. And I'm like, who's this guy? And he's like, Benson Henderson. And that was the first time I ever saw him.
Oh, wow.
And so like Pops was telling me I could be Benson back when I still had a beer belly. You know what I mean? So,
and now you're like, he used to be always ripped, like no freaking fat on his body.
He was good. I went back and watched some of the stuff he's done. He was amazing. Yeah, for sure.
So back then, you just had no idea who this guy was.
No idea who he was. He showed me that
champion,
picture. It
WC.
anybody. Yeah.
Crazy.
Anybody, yeah.
It's so wild for me that we're at a point where UFC stars don't know who Benson Henderson is. But like that just says I'm kind of old at this point. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do you go back now and try to make up for lost time? Do you watch old fights? No, you don't do this.
Bro,
you're missing out, man.
This is what's so funny. So my coaches, like Pop's been fighting like karate tournaments, and he is a Kempo guy, so he used to compete in a black gi, and like he was doing MMA when it was the Wild West, like 3-man free falls, stuff like that. And so him, my coaches, Jake, Joe, they close to my age, but they grew up on this. So like the old stars like Klitschko and like, Wanderlei and all them, like, bro, they speak about these guys like, gods.
Yeah.
And I'm like, forgive me, but as a troll, I tell them like the old guys suck. And they can do nothing with the new guys. Like, and I'd be like, Anderson was Michael Jordan and it ain't been the same since then, bro. Like, they hate me when I do this stuff. But I definitely respect those guys. It's just I personally haven't seen what they've done.
Like Dominic Cruz,
studied.
Arguably the greatest bantamweight. Have you ever watched him?
Listen, brother.
Okay.
The only thing I knew about Dominic Cruz was Cody made a fool out of him. Like that was my era. Like when I came into the sport, Cody Garbrandt was the guy, not Dominic.
Yes.
And so and I will say I've seen a lot more Dominic Cruz because he's a 35er, and I've watched more of his work than the other guys, even from his era. But again, like the thing I knew him for was getting beat up by Cody, getting trolled, and that's how he
did the robot on him.
and became the world champ at 11-0, like from Team Alpha Male. Like that was the guy. Like I was in love with what Cody Garbrandt was doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
And there's a scenario where Cody's that name that you're talking about. I know you've been asked about this, and you'd rather not, right?
Absolutely not. Like granted, it's only like small interactions I've had with him, but he was the first fighter I met that like I was like, I'm asking him for a picture. Like, other guys I saw him, I met him, I was like, hey, nice to meet you. Giga Chikadze, mad cool, by the way.
Wow.
But me and him shook hands, and it was a lot of guys I shook hands with and wanted to meet, but like not many that like I was willing to go and be a fan about. But Cody, I was a fan, and I said, hey, I'm gonna keep this short, but let me tell you. I was like, and I told him about all the stuff I admired about him and how much I watched him. I saw his son with him. I knew Kai's name because I watched Kai born on the internet. And
he's such a nice guy, right?
Incredible.
Cody,
Every time I see him, we talk for like 15 minutes, and he'd give me so much love and knowledge and game that like, I don't know if he feel like we hit the threshold of friends, but I do. You know what I'm saying?
You text now?
Huh? No. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what the threshold is for him, but for me, we done hit it, and I don't want to fight the guy. But
By the way, first event that you ever watched that you remember, like once you started getting into this,
like live UFC fight.
Yeah. I'm just curious, like how new you are to the game,
bro.
Was it like UFC
Let me
300?
explain this. The first. One of the first times before I ever had seen a live event or went back and studied YouTube UFC fights, I was in the gym, and after training, everybody was like, Conor McGregor. And I said, bro, who is Conor McGregor? And they was like, the conversation started about how he was one of the greatest ever. And that was around the time when he was about to rematch Nate Diaz. So that might have been the first time I ever went and watched a live fight. But before that, nothing. And that was low-key like my beginning of being obsessed with Conor. Like, bro, I watched Conor McGregor fights. I went to sleep watching Conor McGregor fights for like 2 years straight.
Wow.
Like set my phone
Over and over again?
Stand. Yeah, same fights. I just watch them over and over. And like, bro, I could watch the Eddie Alvarez fight and I could tell you exactly what's gonna happen. I could tell you when he's about to hit him with the counter shot, when he's about to. I could tell you everything about that fight because I watched it literally like tens and tens and tons of times, all his fights.
You know what's crazy? So you're watching that. This is 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that fight happen?
MSG. And check this out.
Bro.
I just did an interview
Okay.
the last week, and they told me like that was the first New York MMA, like because it wasn't sanctioned before that. Bro, I had no idea. No idea. Like, so I'm like admiring this fight, not even knowing the significance
Historic.
of it. Yeah, no, I didn't know that until last week, bro. I didn't know until last.
You had no.
Where?
They mentioned on the broadcast. Are you listening to it without volume?
They might have said it. I don't know. Yeah.
And then he gets the 2 belts. That was historic
double
too.
Champ. Yeah. And I remember, look, the gloves had like this,
yes.
And I was like, oh, that's cool. They doing that. But I literally did not know it was because that's the first fight in New York at MSG. I did not know that until a week ago, bro.
The sport was banned in New York in 1997. And then it took up until 2016 for it to be unbanned.
Crazy.
And this was the first event. He was the first headliner. And Tyron Woodley fought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson in the co-main. Joanna Jacek fought against Karolina Kovacevic.
Joanna cool as can be too.
Yes.
I met her at a meet and greet, and she showed up a little bit later than everybody else, but she's standing in front of the backdrop taking pictures with a line of fans. And after the line clears out, I go through the line because I don't know if she know who I am. Like, I only got 2 fights in the UFC. And I walk up, and her manager was like, why'd you stand in line? I was like, because I don't know if she know me. And, like, she knew who I was. And, you know, it was just, she's so cool, bro. She showed me so much love, for sure.
Are you an engaged guy?
I guess. You know, they showed me mad love. Yeah, they sent me a ton of stuff.
I love Engage.
I just met, his name's Ash.
Ash is the man, Del Castro.
He was at 320. And we talked a lot, and they send me care packages, and bro, they show me a lot of love. I don't know if I like can identify as an engaged guy, but like they're
not paying you for this? Come on.
Nah, I don't know the ins and outs of what my management working, but they been blessing me. So even if I don't get a check for this,
now we got a little jewelry and stuff.
Yeah,
I see
all
that.
free shit.
Yeah. Okay.
All free, bro.
Okay. Was that from Jackson too? From when you were with
Jackson.
Rampage?
You already know.
I saw it.
They the plug, bro. I tell you what, since I got on, like, I ain't gotta buy clothes, I ain't gotta buy jewelry, I ain't gotta buy nothing. It's all for the free, man.
This is good. So you're loving life.
It's incredible. My life is great, man.
Do you ever ask yourself, why me? Why is this all happening to me? Do you ever worry that it's gonna end? Are you that type of person, or are you just kind of going with it?
I don't worry that it's gonna end, but like the why me is there, bro, because so I was talking about my coach, Jake. Like, bro, my coach was 6-7 fights into his pro career when I started. My day one. He didn't have partners, and I was like one of his helpers in his camps. And he's had this dream of being a UFC fighter since he was a child. He's a level of grappling I probably will never get to. He's trained hard. Like, I trained hard, don't get me wrong, for my 8 years in the sport, and I gave up so much for it, but he did that for 20 years. And sometimes I wonder, like how hard it must be for him to watch me accomplishing this. And he does it with so much grace. And, like, that made me think, like, why me? Like, because I don't question, like, how God gives out his blessings, but, like, stuff like that, like, it's hard. You know what I'm saying?
And is he still actively pursuing this? Or
Yeah. He just had, so the Augusta fight this summer, obviously, I didn't fight in it. But he did. He was the headliner. He got a first round finish.
Okay.
Record is improved to 8-3 now. He ain't gave up on the dream yet.
What's his name? What's his full name?
Jason Fagler Jr.
Okay.
Yeah. He ain't gave up on the dream yet, but you know, again, that's like the thing that made me say, like, how did I end up in this position? Especially when, like, bro, from my childhood days until 3 months before my kickboxing debut, because he told me to, I was living a lifestyle that's like counterproductive to this. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, it's crazy, man, to see myself in this position when it's people like him who just gave they all to the sport since they was a kid, you know.
Do you still drink and stuff like that, or you cut all that out?
Zero. I don't drink or smoke. I stopped completely before my kickboxing fight. It's another funny story. I won't get too deep into it, but basically I was wilding on Snapchat for my birthday.
Okay.
And the morning after, my coach Jake called me. He said, "Bro, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What you talking about?" He was like, "Bro, I just seen you blah 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 on Snapchat." I said, "Oh," it was my birthday. I was drunk. You know what I'm saying? I was doing my thing, and he was like, "No, if you want to fight, you gotta stop." And from that day, I walked away from everything, and it was like 2 years straight that I didn't do anything. And then after those 2 years, like, I kind of like drank in a much healthier way. Like I'd have a nightcap here and there, maybe on date nights or something like that I drink. But I reverted to Islam in April last year, and since then I haven't touched anything at all.
Wow.
So,
Do you miss it?
A little bit. I still to this day definitely, it's crazy, but I miss smoking cigarettes. Like that was like, I used to love smoking cigarettes. Bro,
you and Carlos Praches.
I love the cigarette.
Really?
I miss smoking cigarettes a lot.
Even as you're like coming up, you're fighting and you're smoking cigarettes?
You talking about fighting or a child?
No. Well, how old are you when you're smoking cigarettes?
Mama.
Yeah.
I started smoking weed when I was like 13, 14.
Oh, wow.
And a year after that is when I started with Black and Milds. But
I don't know what that is.
It's like a cigar with like the plastic tip, right?
Oh, got it.
And they be like, you smoke a Black and Mild. They be like, it boosts your high, right? And so like, I was smoking Black and Milds, but it's tobacco. And then I remember shortly after that, like when I was like 15, there was a guy that I was friends with, had a cigarette in his car. I was like, that's your mama's cigarette or something? He was like, nah, it's mine. I was like, you smoke cigarettes? And he was like, yeah, it's just like a Black and Mild. And boom. So from that day up until, like I said, months before my kickboxing fight, like I was living like that. And I mean like pack a day or better, at least.
Pack a day. Wow.
Right-handed guy, yeah.
Wow,
pack a day. You can ask any of my homeboys that grew up with me, that knew me, like I always had cigarettes with me.
And what do you do now to battle the urge?
God. Okay. you can't.
And why did you convert to Islam? How did that happen?
Oh man, so this is a crazy story too. I don't know how much time you got. I don't want to take all your time.
No. And we'll let you go in a moment.
No, I'm good. I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah,
But so my dad passed away from cancer when I was like 3 years old, right?
I'm sorry.
All good. And you know, I grew up like finding father figures in different places. So in construction and in the gym in particular, there was like these father figures I found. Pops, strong Christian man. Another guy in the trade, his name Carl Smith. I love that guy to death, but he was a really religious guy too. This Cal Mathis guy I told you about, that was the guy that urged me to try MMA, right? He was one of the wildest people I ever met. Like, go out, party, get drunk, fight. Like, he was one of those people you don't want to go out with unless you're ready to get in trouble or go to jail. And I ran into him like 3 years after not working a job with him. Changed man. Like, he a family man now. He got a wife and a baby, and he living straight. He don't do nothing, and Christ did that for him, right? But I wanted to be religious because I saw what religion did for the people I admired. And Christianity was the one that I was exposed to all my life. Like I grew up, my granddaddy was a deacon in the Baptist church, all that stuff like that. And so I kind of had that thing where I grew up going to church with my granddad, but then early adulthood after my granddaddy passed around like 20 years old, I stopped going to church. I really didn't have any faith because it was more cultural than it was me having an understanding of the theology and an actual relationship with God. And then so after that, I remember mid in my 20s in construction, Cal was running a Bible study. And so Cal's running this Bible study at lunch, and we got a 45-minute lunch. So every day for like 6 months, I'm doing this 45-minute Bible study with Cal. And like I'm the only guy in the group that don't know nothing about the Bible. I don't even have a copy of the Bible, you know what I mean? And so like I'm asking the dumbest questions that everybody knows. Well, back then they didn't have shoes, so they did this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so stuff like that. And I was learning a lot, and I remember watching a bunch of, like, remember that 45-minute drive to work I was telling you about. So it was times I was listening to audiobooks and watching lectures and debates and stuff. And I remember downloading an audiobook on the history of the Bible. And I don't want to get attacked, but I remember this audiobook, it gave me the basic knowledge. It's not like it's information people don't know, but it's not what I thought it was. I thought it was like the word of God, but it's more so like letters that are inspired by God and a compilation of different, texts from over time and stuff like that. The canon and apocryphy stuff, all that stuff. Like I was learning all this stuff and I was like, it's not what I thought it was, essentially. So like that kind of was like where I strayed away from my pursuit of Christianity at the time. And this is really crazy, right? So my wife, she translates Arabic in the military.
Oh, wow.
She grew up in Buffalo, New York. So she grew up around a bunch of Muslims, and she works with a bunch of people that are, Arabs, because obviously she's speaking Arabic, had a bunch of Arabic teachers, had shared, feasts for iftar during Ramadan with all these different people throughout her career. Anyway, she's not Muslim, but I'm having a conversation with her one night after my Contender Series fight, and I'm like, this was like months after this, and I'm like, I'm 30 years old. I'm probably going to get signed to the UFC. I was like, man, I gotta have something to get purpose and fulfillment of after I fight. Like, because if I'm lucky, my career is gonna be like 4, 6, maybe 7 years in the UFC, but like, what after that? Like, am I gonna be like a shell of myself and be unhappy? And she was like, this was actually before my Contender Series fight because it was in April. But she was like, well, have you like looked into other religions? So she sends me like a short form video on like Hindu, Buddhism, because she grew up as a Buddhist, which is crazy. And then Islam, like a bunch of little short form videos. And there was a video on Islam, it's like 20 minutes with bobblehead cartoons. And it tells you the basic theology of it and like stuff like, I didn't know they believed in Jesus. Like, you know what I mean? Just basic stuff like this. And I was so interested in the things that I heard that I went and ordered a Quran that night. So I ordered a Quran that night, I start reading it. And in the next 2 months, I read like 2/3 of the Quran. Like, it was like, I was like, every free moment I had, I was sitting down, I was reading, I was so interested. I was listening to lectures on the way to and from work every day. I was watching debates. I start watching the Muslims debate the Christians now. And man, I don't know if Muslims just have this particular ability to debate religion, but they are very convincing. You know what I mean? So then I become so curious that I want to visit the local mosque and talk to the brotherhood. But it's Ramadan at the time. It's March. Because I converted in April, right? So it's Ramadan. And I'm calling the masjid and ain't nobody picking up the phone. I got 3 phone numbers off their website. Nobody picking up the phone. And it's like 5 minutes from around the corner from my house. And I put it off a couple weeks. And then one day I'm just like, bro, I'm driving up there. Like, I want to know because I'm still reading this Quran, still listening to lectures. I was like, I got to know. So I drive to the local masjid right around the corner from my house. It's early April, ending of Ramadan. And I walk into the lobby of the mosque and it's dark. It's like I thought I was gonna maybe see somebody at a desk or something, and then I see like the doors to the prayer hall, and I look into the doors, and there's people in sleeping bags. I said, nah. I said, this ain't for me. I said, I'm not gonna wake these folks up, and I said, this ain't for me. So I walk out, I go back to my truck, and I'm finna leave, and I'm like, you gotta do it. Like, so I walk back inside, and I knock on the prayer hall doors, and don't nobody move an inch. And I was like, all right, it ain't meant to be. And as I'm leaving this time, a minivan pulls up, and it's this woman coming to pick up her son. And she's like, hey, can I help you? And one thing leads to another. She gets her son out there. Son gets the imam to me. Me and the imam walk around the courtyard for 30 minutes. He's just asking me what I know, what my experience is like, why Islam, what's my questions, and he invited me to come back and break fast with the brothers that night at Iftar. And I came back, and the way I was treated was so incredible. And also, bro, I'm like, I don't know nobody in the mosque. So, it's scary for me to go to a feast where these guys been fasting all day, and I'm like, I'm about to be around a bunch of Arabs that don't know me, and look at how I look. Like, I had tattoos, the way I dress and everything like that. And, I'm nervous, and I got to even force myself to come back that night. But, bro, I came back that night, and they showed me so much love. They treated me so well. And then they took me into the prayer hall. And, during Ramadan, bro, it's so many Muslims. Like, it's powerful to see something like that, reciting Quran and all that stuff. And the guy that I was there with, he was like, you want to take your Shahada tonight? And I said, yes. And so I took my Shahada. That was April 6th last year. And it's been good ever since. And my UFC debut was April 19th. And Ramadan was all March. So for my very first UFC fight, all of March, I fasted all daylight hours and still had that camp and had 3 weeks to have somewhat of recovery and a weight cut before I fought Cameron Simon.
Wow, as you were training.
Yeah, and it was the most sensational performance of my life, and I feel like Islam, bro, So that's my
respect
backstory. Yeah.
Respect.
Long story, but that's kind of
Salam alaikum, my brother.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And I think you're a big fan of Islam Makhachev, right?
I am.
Have you met him?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
and
well, you will this week.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous. You know what I mean? I'm
met Khabib?
Salam. No, never.
Okay,
bro. Those are
crew.
Incredible guys. They gonna have that Cody Garbrandt effect on me for sure. So I'm excited to meet them.
Man, what a joy you are, really.
Thank you, brother.
You have such a great personality, such a great spirit, and it's so much fun seeing you do your thing. We're obviously big fans of what you do and really appreciate you coming in. Honestly, I know it was a pain in the butt, but when they told me that you were willing to do it, we were so excited. So thank you so much.
When my management told me you was willing to do it, bro, because, like I said, I still got that small-minded mentality and personality. So,
listen,
things like
a couple more fights, you'll be like, nah, I'm not feeling it.
I ain't got no time, Ariel.
Small-time MMA
I don't
losers.
think so, brother. I don't think so.
I hope you get to that point. I hope you get to that point. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Can't wait to see what you do. If you pull off another right hook knockout. Everyone's talking about Walter Walker and his finishing thing with the heel hook. You've got that same thing with the right hook. I hope you get that Joe Rogan interview. I hope you get that pizza. What's the topping, by the way? What's the topping?
I don't know, man. Maybe cheese, maybe chicken, something halal.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm a green olives pineapple guy, and people give me crap for this. Trust me. Yo, the sweet and the salty is something. Don't knock it.
Should I try it?
Well, I don't.
Would you recommend it to people? Are you such a believer
when I talk
in it like
about
that?
it, I feel it in my throat.
Oh, you know that you're weird. Which one
No.
is it?
It's incredible. It's spiritual.
You said pineapples and what?
Pineapple and green olives, not black, not Kalamata.
I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it while I'm in New York.
Just let me know. Just let me know.
Say no more.
Just let me know.
Say no more.
Let me
That's
know.
a bet.
You're the man. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it,
Good
brother.
luck to you. Malcolm Wellmaker, check him out this Saturday, UFC 322, going up against Cody Haddon. We're going to say goodbye to him very quickly, and then we'll be back to wrap up the show. Do not go anywhere. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.